This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 11th day of June in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting. Now here's what we're tracking tonight. One day after the U.S. delivered 7 Guyanese deportees home, the Guyana government is warning Guyanese of the consequences of entering and living illegally in the United States. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs revealed today that it had received an official diplomatic note from the government of the United States, advising of the strict enforcement measures and legal consequences for persons who attempt to enter or remain in the U.S. unlawfully. The Foreign Affairs Ministry said the diplomatic note follows the reinstatement and expansion of several immigration policies by U.S. President Donald Trump. According to the ministry, while the U.S. continues to welcome legitimate and legal travelers, the Secretary of State has explicitly outlined that the government prioritizes the prosecution of offenses for illegal entry and illegal presence in the U.S., as well as criminal offenses for foreign nationals. The Foreign Affairs Ministry noted that Guyanese nationals who enter the U.S. without proper documentation or who overstay their period in the U.S. of authorized entry or fail to respect the terms of their admission will be subject to the full extent of U.S. immigration law, including but not limited to arrest, prosecution, imprisonment, or heavy fines. The Foreign Affairs Ministry said Guyanese citizens are encouraged to pursue legal and authorized avenues for migration, immigration, employment, education, and travel to the U.S. Nationals currently are strongly advised to depart the U.S. immediately, the Foreign Affairs Ministry warned. The ministry also urged Guyanese to comply with all immigration laws and regulations of the U.S. government. Just last week, the U.S. Embassy here in Georgetown also warned that using a U.S. visa to travel for the primary purpose of giving birth in the U.S. so that the child will have U.S. citizenship is not permitted, and consular officers will deny a visa application if they have reason to believe that was the intent of the travel to the U.S. In a statement on its Facebook page warning against birth tourism, the embassy also said if someone already has a U.S. visa and travels to the U.S. for the primary purpose of giving birth and use Medicaid or other U.S. government assistance to pay for their medical care, that person may not be eligible to renew their U.S. visa in the future. More news coming up in just a moment.
Father's Day, we got you. Get the chance to win weekly prizes plus a grand 500,000 voucher to purchase all that you want. All you need to do is activate a 30-day prepaid plan, sign up for any postpaid plan, upgrade your fiber bill, or sign up for fiber if you're a new customer. Check the caption for more details or visit our website OneCountryWide for all the information.
Your own home is so much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
This June, magic returns to the stage. KFC and Super Stylistics proudly present the KFC Senior Category Mother and Daughter Pageant 2025. A celebration of fashion, family, food, and love, all wrapped in one unforgettable night. Walk into a world of fairy tale fantasy where elegance shines, stories unfold, and the bonds take the spotlight. Saturday, June 14th at the National Culture Center. Showtime 8 p.m. Tickets are available now at the National Culture Center box office. The KFC Senior Category Mother and Daughter Pageant. One night, one stage, a lifetime of memories.
Prostate cancer is one of the most common cancers in men. It starts in the prostate, a small gland that plays a vital role in male reproductive health. Early stages often show no symptoms, but advanced cases can lead to difficulty urinating, blood in urine, or pain in the hips and back. Risks increases with age, family history, and lifestyle. Luckily, early detection saves lives. Simple screening like the PSA test or a routine checkup can make all the difference. Don't wait. Take charge of your health. Talk to your doctor about prostate cancer today. Early detection could save your life.
The Father's Day Cultural Extravaganza is here again. Yes, it's Dedication to Daddy 6 under the theme Stand Tall, Daddy, featuring Romo Edmondson, Leticia De Silva, Keisha Sam, Neelan Benjamin, Sonia Yard, Barbara Lee, Simone Dowding, Colin Ambrose, Frederick Minty, Antoine Gonzalez, Creative Arts Dance Troupe, and others on Sunday, the 15th of June from 8 p.m. at the National Cultural Center. Tickets $2,500. Treat Dad to an unforgettable evening of wine, song, dance, and drama with an opportunity to win a fabulous door prize directed by Sharon Cadogan Taylor. Dedication to Daddy 6. Stand tall, Daddy.
Chasing a ride that takes you higher? Elevate your drive with the all-new Honda Elevate, now at Merrick's. The Honda Elevate has a bold style, cutting-edge technology, sleek and modern interior, and intuitive controls that makes every journey feel elevated and comfortable. So, why wait? Drive a Honda Elevate today. It's brand new, 0 miles, 0 worries. Visit Merrick's, the home of Honda in Guyana, or call 226-1482 to learn more.
In the world of politics and the coalition talks between the APNU and the AFC, correspondences between the two sides during their coalition negotiations have revealed that during the early stages of those negotiations, the AFC proposed that it be assigned 65% of cabinet appointments, including the office of the Prime Minister, the Minister of Finance, and the office of the Attorney General, in addition to being made the representative of the list. In a response seen by News Source, the APNU said as the largest party in the coalition, it will name the presidential candidate, and that it had no issue with the AFC naming the prime ministerial candidate, but on the grounds that the leaders agree on the candidate jointly following consultation. The APNU, however, rejected the AFC's proposal that 65% of cabinet positions be occupied by that party. The APNU says its 70 to 30% of all cabinet appointments is non-negotiable. The party said that the APNU will name the Minister of Finance. However, it will be willing to consider the AFC's case for the position of Attorney General. The leader of the Alliance for Change, Nigel Hughes, on Tuesday said the AFC at no point demanded the presidency. But in a document dated the 6th of February, the AFC put forward what it considered then as its final and firm offer, and in doing so said that its leader would be the best president for Guyana at this time. However, it said, looking at the big picture, the party is willing to play whatever role that will unite the opposition forces. While it did not oppose APNU naming the presidential candidate, the AFC strongly suggested that the candidate should not be the leader of the People's National Congress Reform and chairman of the APNU, Aubrey Norton. The AFC said for the record, it does not consider the president of the APNU the strongest and most attractive or marketable choice for a coalition presidential candidate. And without prejudice, the AFC would recommend that the APNU search for a compromise candidate to significantly improve the possible coalition appeal to voters across all demographics. The AFC also described as nonsense the proposal by the APNU that there must be consensus on the prime ministerial candidate, while arguing further that the functions and political responsibilities of the office of the prime minister must be clearly indicated. In the February 6th document, the AFC revised its numbers downward, proposing at that time that it be assigned 55% of cabinet appointments, as against the 65% that it had earlier proposed. The Alliance for Change also made it clear that it will not participate in political arrangements in which its partners control all the commanding heights of political and executive authority. It also concluded that the document submitted by the APNU was not one intended to arrive at any agreement, saying that the APNU's position that it must have the presidential candidate and must be the representative of the list was totally unacceptable. In another correspondence dated the 25th of March, the AFC maintained that its candidate was best fit for the presidential post. The party said the AFC maintains that based on impartial data and public feedback that its proposed candidate remains the better option should the party seek a victory in the upcoming elections. It said in the spirit of its willingness and to forge a viable coalition and to rescue the nation, the AFC is willing to consider the option of a consensus candidate after a mutually agreed upon selection process. It proposed further that it holds the Ministries of Education, Housing and Water, Human Services and Social Security, Legal Affairs, Local Government, Public Works, Amerindian Affairs, and the Office of the Prime Minister. By the 17th of April, the talks collapsed, and the AFC in a correspondence maintained its position that a coalition led by Norton will not have the requisite national appeal and likability necessary for national mobilization to be victorious at the elections. It said it could not accept the proposed ratio of 7-30 for political appointments, emphasizing that its proposal remains unchanged. Opposition Member of Parliament and PNC Reform Member Amanza Walton-Desir today urged the APNU and the AFC to reach an agreement for a coalition ahead of the upcoming elections in September. Talks between the APNU and AFC broke down weeks ago, and in the past few days there has been a trading of blame publicly by officials of the two sides over them not reaching an agreement. In a statement this afternoon, Walton-Desir reminded the two sides that the majority of their supporters, including herself, are deeply frustrated and fed up with the state of the negotiations between the two. She said while she was not part of the negotiations, she has been urging and pleading with the two sides involved to come together and create something that their supporters and the people of Guyana could be proud of and enthusiastically support. She said disappointingly, 6 months later, the two sides are no closer to an agreement and seem more divided than when the talks started. The outspoken politician said the opposition is failing the people who are looking to them for leadership because they are feeding them a diet of division and public bickering that is draining their hope and trust. She said the future will not forgive them and history will not absolve them, adding that it is time that they wake up and realize that leadership means actually putting people first. Meanwhile, in an earlier statement of her own, Member of Parliament and AFC member Jarita Finance stepped away from her party, the AFC, and its position for there to be a consensus presidential candidate for the coalition. Writing on her Facebook page, MP Finance said the current moment calls for leadership that is for the people and leadership that understands the plight of the people. She said it is not a moment to be hijacked by any group that perceives itself to be better than the political leaders who have stayed the course. Finance said the idea of a consensus candidate is a dangerous fantasy that should not be entertained, adding that the stakes are just too high. The APNU has insisted that its leader and leader of the PNC Reform, Aubrey Norton, be the presidential candidate for a coalition, while the AFC has questioned Norton's national appeal and the marketability, while proposing that a consensus presidential candidate be sought. The PNC Reform is the largest and oldest party in the APNU. In a majority decision on Tuesday, the Guyana Elections Commission voted to introduce a new form for the submission of nominations by the political parties taking part in this year's elections. However, while the opposition commissioners are in support of the changes, they believe the timing is bad, with elections less than 3 months away. Election Commissioner Vincent Alexander told News Source today that a new form is intended to address the issue of a single individual signing on behalf of multiple nominators, as was evident in the past elections. He said it was the Chief Elections Officer Vishnu Prasad who had proposed that the form be updated to include clear instructions that the nominators are required to sign. He said while the proposal is good, the timing is bad.
In the last local government elections, it was evident that some of the nomination forms, the forms on which candidates are nominated, that the signatories were not the individuals whose names were recorded, but that one person seemed to have signed for many persons. So really those forms were not properly endorsed. What the CEO has done on this occasion is in the bracket for the signature, he is specified in the head that it has to be the signature of the nominator. So it can't be anybody signing it. We thought that that was not a bad thing for him to have done.
Commissioner Alexander also said the opposition-nominated commissioners proposed that the use of the new or updated form be phased in, but the chairman of the Elections Commission, retired Justice Claudette Singh, voted with the government-nominated commissioners to use only the new form for this year's elections. He said that decision was taken notwithstanding the fact that the original form was uploaded to GECOM's website and is already being accessed by some political parties.
Our concern, therefore, was if you impose upon people to use the new form, then you might put in people at a disadvantage if they had already used the old form, which may have required them to go into the hinterland, because if you're dealing with constituencies, you have to get signatures from the constituencies. So they may have gone into the hinterland already, which is costly, which is far, done the work, and now we're saying to them, go back, because you gotta use a new form.
And in another majority decision, the Elections Commission also voted not to underline the names of the overseas persons as proposed by Alexander and the other opposition commissioners. He said the move was intended to address voter impersonation, arguing that a list of Guyanese who are based overseas could have been easily provided by the Chief Immigration Officer to the Commissioner of Registration, as provided for in the law.
It means, one, that you will not be taking people's name off the list. But it means that the polling officials and the party officials can be more vigilant when if somebody turns up to vote using the name of a person who is listed as overseas. Now, once that person turns out to be the right person by ID card and other factors, obviously the person will be allowed to vote. But this is intended to be a deterrent to people coming to vote for people who are not present.
Mr. Alexander expressed disappointment that many of the measures proposed by the opposition-nominated commissioners to prevent electoral fraud and have free and fair elections were shot down at a time when the list is almost the size of the country's population.
A nation united for one powerful night of praise and worship. It's the One Guyana Worship Experience. Monday, July 7th, CARICOM Day at the Guyana National Stadium, Providence, starting from 6 p.m. Join us for an unforgettable evening featuring international award-winning gospel ministers Chandler Moore, Todd Dulaney, Samuel Midas, Renwick Dewsbury. Out of Jamaica, the viral sensation, Prince Saj, also ministering. Faith Kurika, Cheryl Maloney, Timothy Roberts, Apostle Sean Sobers, Miriam Williams, Joshua Joe, and many more. The One Guyana Worship Experience, Monday, July 7th at the National Stadium. Admission is absolutely free, but you must secure your passes through your local churches, online, and designated outlets across the country. One nation, one people, one worship. The One Guyana Worship Experience. Don't miss it.
GECOM will be conducting a claims and objections exercise commencing June 16, 2025 to produce an official list of electors for the conduct of general and regional elections on September 1, 2025. If you will be 18 years or older by June 30, 2025 and you're a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent or naturalization or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GECOM will post the preliminary list of electors PLE in all of the registered registration divisions for you to check if you are listed and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. If you have changed your address since you were registered, you need to visit the GECOM registration office responsible for your new area of residence to apply for a transfer. If you do not apply for a transfer, you will have to go to the polling station where you will be listed to vote based on your previous residence. Wednesday, June 18, 2025 is the last day you can apply for a transfer during this exercise. For more information, contact GECOM on 225-027729 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
Guyana, it's time to uncap your weekend. Uncapped Marketplace is back Saturday, June 21st and Sunday, June 22nd at the National Stadium. Come shop the best in local sauces, spices, skincare, snacks, craft, and so much more. Meet your favorite agro-processors, discover new products, and walk away with unbeatable deals. Don't miss the excitement, the giveaways, and the reason we say proudly made in Guyana. That's Uncapped Marketplace, June 21st and 22nd. Support local, shop smart, and experience Uncapped.
New York City, summer is about to get hot. Saturday, August 2nd, SR Hamilton LLC presents Gospel Infusion. Featuring Samuel Medas, Psycho, Eddie Neblett, Sean Daniels out of Trinidad, Carlvin Burnett, Christelle Brandt, Sherilyn Maloney, DJ Kesta D, and many more at the South Jamaica Multi-Service Center, 11402 Guy R. Brewer Boulevard, Queens, New York. Gates open at 4 p.m., showtime 5 p.m. Get your super early bird tickets for only $50. General admission $70. Pay more at the gate and limited VIP $100 all inclusive. Come and experience the outpouring of God's grace Saturday, August 2nd. For more information, visit Gospel Infusion on Facebook and Instagram.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Need small appliance for your kitchen? Giftland have it. Need fridge or stove? Giftland have it. Speakers or laptop? Giftland have it. I'm telling you, Giftland have everything. And don't get me started on TVs. 58-inch, 65-inch, 70-inch, 75-inch. All sizes in leading brands. Best thing about it, they give a warranty. Man, Giftland is the place for all your electronics purchases.
Washi. Hi people, washing made so easy since I found Washi. Washing me use wash me clothes and I can say Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder leave me clothes smelling nice, of course. So give thanks to Washi soap powder for doing my laundry right. Keep my clothes color bright, have my clothes smelling nice for sure. I could not ask for more. Comes in lemon and original. It is a washing machine in a pack. Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder have my clothes smelling nice, of course.
Distributors located in the Stabrook Market.
Attorney General Anil Nandlal has defended offering legal advice and legal opinions to the Guyana Elections Commission, amid opposition concerns that such advice cannot be considered to be independent. On his Issues in the News television program last evening, Mr. Nandlal said he is not the legal advisor to the Guyana Elections Commission, but he admitted that he has provided legal opinions to the Commission based on requests from the Commission. Last week, the leader of the Alliance for Change, Nigel Hughes, wrote to the chairman of the Elections Commission seeking answers on the issue. Mr. Hughes said the Elections Commission, relying on advice from the Attorney General, is a grave conflict of interest, especially since the Attorney General is a likely candidate in the upcoming elections.
So, Mr. Hughes for your benefit, the Attorney General is not the legal advisor of GECOM, but offered his opinion as was requested, and has offered his legal opinion to many independent constitutional agencies and statutory agencies who have from time to time have sought legal guidance and legal opinions. That doesn't make the Attorney General the legal advisor of those agencies.
The Attorney General said his office has never declined a request from the Elections Commission or any other state body for legal support. He said GECOM on a number of previous occasions also sought and received legal advice from previous Attorneys General, and there was no issue then.
Historically, the legal opinion of the Attorney General has been sought by GECOM for many decades. And the Attorney General's office has never declined a request to offer a legal opinion to important state agencies, including, of course, GECOM.
Mr. Nandlal did not provide any detail about the advice sought and provided to GECOM. However, he said the GECOM chairman had written to him seeking certain clarifications and his opinion on some of the recent amendments to the National Registration and the Representation of the People Act. He said his office offered legal guidance in line with those requests. Well, Vice President Bharat Jagdeo on Tuesday said the People's Progressive Party civic government is gearing up to roll out its plans for the next 5 years. But he offered a glimpse of some of those plans during the second day of graduations for students who completed programs under the Guyana Online Learning Academy program. During his remarks, Mr. Jagdeo told the graduates that his government has crafted a menu of measures that will support small and medium-sized businesses in the coming years. He urged the graduates to get involved in business, since the government will continue to offer its support to small and medium-scale enterprises.
We'll be opening up 85,000 acres of land in Region 5 and 6 for small farmers in the next term. There will be a bank, a development bank that will allow zero interest financing for small and medium scale businesses. So if you're getting there.
The Vice President said the government will also create the environment that will ensure more opportunities in the oil and gas sector, as well as the environment, hospitality, and healthcare sectors.
In the financial sector, there will be tons of jobs. I'm just rushing through because I just crashed, so I have to get through a few things to talk to you about opportunities. In the financial sector, we've already made it clear that we'll be a big focus in the next term would be financial literacy, financial empowerment, underwriting opportunities in the oil and gas sector and other sectors that would have a guarantee rate of return for small investors that's underwritten by the state, so we can democratize investments across the country.
And he acknowledged that the government may not be able to employ all of the persons graduating through a gold program, but he said it will play a supporting role to ensure everyone can benefit economically.
We have made it clear that we want to develop enough land in this country so that every Guyanese can have a plot of land and own a home. And all of you who have not applied as yet, please apply, because we're going to keep that commitment. We're going to keep people secure. We're going to make sure they have better paying jobs. We're going to ensure that we have world-class education and health facilities.
More than 6,000 persons graduated from various gold programs over the past 2 days. In a meeting with the opposition on Tuesday, a group of Western diplomats reportedly put forward a number of proposals that could contribute to the country having free and fair elections when citizens head to the polls on the 1st of September. This is according to the leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton. Mr. Norton met with the ambassador of the delegation of the European Union, the U.S. ambassador, the Canadian High Commissioner, and the British High Commissioner at his Congress Place office. He was accompanied by the People's National Congress Reform General Secretary Sherwin Benjamin, along with party executives Mervyn Williams, Ganesh Mahipal, and Coretta MacDonald.
They identified some things that they are going to put in place to help to, as far as is practically possible for them, to have elections that are above board. To use one of their own phrases, elections that stand up to best practices.
Mr. Norton said during the course of the meeting, the People's National Congress Reform expressed its lack of confidence in the Guyana Elections Commission to deliver free and fair elections. Though not giving specifics, he said while the proposals put forward by the diplomats are reasonable, the concerns of the party remain the same. Those concerns include the use of a bloated voters list, registration of ineligible persons to vote, threats by the PPP against government workers, and the misuse of state resources by the incumbent to campaign for the PPP.
Well, their proposals are reasonable, but the problem is, like I've said before, one, you already have a bloated list. Two, the government is using state resources to campaign. So by the very acts of the government, you start the process of rigging.
Mr. Norton said the People's National Congress Reform will scrutinize the electoral process as much as possible to reduce the levels of illegalities.
GECOM will be conducting a claims and objections exercise commencing June 16, 2025 to produce an official list of electors for the conduct of general and regional elections on September 1, 2025. GECOM will post the preliminary list of electors in all registration divisions for you to check if you are listed and if your particulars are accurate. If you will be 18 years or older by June 30, 2025 and you are a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent or naturalization or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. If you are eligible for inclusion, you are required to apply for registration if your name is not on the PLE. Apply for a transfer if you have changed your address since you were registered. Apply for a name change if you have changed your name. Apply for a correction if your particulars are incorrect. Any person applying for a change or correction must provide the relevant original source document, birth certificate and deed poll for a name change by deed poll, marriage certificate and ID card for a name change by marriage, divorce absolute in the case of a woman who is desirous of reverting to her maiden name from her married name, birth certificate, adoption certificate, naturalization certificate for correction of minor clerical errors. Visit the GECOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to conduct any of these transactions. The claims aspect of this exercise will end on Wednesday, June 18, 2025. For more information, contact the GECOM on 225-0277-9 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
The moment is coming. He has the ball. Will he make the shot? And he made it! Goal! This is the biggest win we've seen in ages. Feel the rush with every bet and win big. Play online at www.ibetgamesui.com.
With iBet Supreme, every game is your game. iBet to win with iBet Supreme.
Must be 18 years and older to bet.
Buster presenting the new 500 milliliter. Wow, Buster flavorful. Make every meal better. Grab a Buster for drink, Buster move. Taste this. 500 ml, that's it. Buster for days, that's cool. Buster 500 milliliter is a brand new choice of my drink with my food. Vibing every munch, that's smooth. Introducing the new Buster 500 milliliter. Grab a bottle with your lunch today.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
GECOM will be conducting a claims and objections exercise commencing June 16, 2025 to produce an official list of electors for the conduct of general and regional elections on September 1, 2025. If you will be 18 years or older by June 30, 2025 and you're a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent or naturalization or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GECOM will post the preliminary list of electors in all registration divisions for you to check if you are listed and if your particulars are accurate. You can object to any one you believe does not qualify for inclusion in the OLE. To do so, you must be listed on the same divisional list as the person you are objecting to. You must visit the GECOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to make an objection. The objections aspect of this exercise will end on Friday, June 20, 2025. For more information, contact the GECOM on 225-0277-9 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall. In the region, over $303 million was approved in new projects by the Caribbean Development Bank in 2024, according to the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. President Daniel Best says the capital deployed was targeted, transformative, and timely. He was speaking at the opening of the 55th annual meeting of the Board of Governors in Brazil. The meeting is being held under the theme Building the Future, Resilient Institutions for Greener, Stronger and Inclusive Caribbean. Mr. Best stressed the need for institutions to adapt in real time, becoming strong, adaptive and inclusive. He says the CDB is undergoing a bold transformation. A U.S. appeals court on Tuesday temporarily paused the judge's ruling, holding that hundreds of Venezuelans the Trump administration deported to El Salvador under the 18th century wartime law must be given the chance to challenge their detentions. According to Reuters, a 3-judge panel of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit issued an administrative stay to give itself more time to consider an appeal filed by the government earlier on Tuesday. Washington-based U.S. District Judge James Boasberg on June 4 also ruled that the Trump administration must facilitate their legal challenges, though he stopped short of expressly ordering the government to bring the Venezuelan migrants currently being held at a mega prison in El Salvador back to the U.S. The judge, an appointee of Democratic President Barack Obama, gave the government 1 week to detail how it would facilitate the deportees' challenges. The Venezuelans were deported in March after President Donald Trump, a Republican, invoked the 1798 Alien Enemies Act to swiftly deport alleged members of the Tren de Aragua gang without going through normal immigration procedures. And finally tonight, international news. Los Angeles police say they have made mass arrests after a 5th day of protests over U.S. President Donald Trump's immigration raids, according to the BBC. Mayor Karen Bass declared an overnight curfew within a relatively small area of the city's downtown district, saying businesses were being vandalized and looted. Elsewhere, the immigration raids that triggered protests last Friday have continued, with deployed National Guard troops now protecting border control agents on enforcement operations. Trump's row with state officials ramped up after he deployed troops to LA. The president has now vowed to liberate the city, but has been accused by California Governor Gavin Newsom of an assault on democracy. Trump defended his decision to send 4,000 National Guard troops and 700 Marines, saying it was to prevent the city being conquered by foreign enemy. These troops lack the authority to make arrests and have instead been tasked only with protecting federal property and personnel. Newsom hit back at the president. He said, and I quote, "He again chose escalation. He chose more force." End of quote. The California governor, who is seen as a potential presidential contender for the Democratic Party, warned that the other states are next. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall, wishing you a pleasant evening.